we're back once again, and we're back with some indie horror. Surprise. I know, it's the final cut. What would you expect, especially during October? And I've got one for you that is some true indie horror, and it is called Sleep, Walk, Kill. It is from Justin Miller, who wrote and directed this horror comedy about Edgar, who is just trying to get through life, dealing with a year after his divorce, and he's got an overbearing mom, and he's just trying to get through life. Well, life throws him a curveball when a mysterious sound is heard up and down the East Coast. And after that, when people go to sleep, they wake up and turn into homicidal maniacs that want to kill anybody who's close to them. And we see how Edgar, his ex-wife, his family, and some neighbors huddle together in his house to try to survive and figure out how to stay awake so they don't go to sleep and end up killing their loved ones. Yes, it is a horror comedy. This was definitely done on a micro budget, and they make the most of it, and I really enjoyed not only the spirit but the story of this. Now, being a smaller budget, there is a lot of dialogue, but the dialogue is edited, I think, very well in here. It moves along in the scenes nicely, cutting. They've got coverage in here, so they're cutting between people, and they keep things interesting to where there is a lot of dialogue, but visually it keeps moving, so you don't just sit there going, and there are some quite humorous moments in throughout the script, as well as some kind of scary moments, and it gets dark near the end for sure. Justin Miller really takes you on a roller coaster of tone in this movie, which is what you kind of want from a horror film. Now, Bill Reich plays Edgar, and he was fantastic in here. It kind of got hard to say how his style is, but I really like this guy who's just trying to roll with it and doing the best he can. He's not really leadership material, but thrown into a role and just making the most of it. He even, while he is kind of pining for his ex-wife, he also understands the reality of the situation, and I liked that as well, and the arc that they took his character and his relationship with Addie, his ex-wife, played by Samantha Russell, who was fantastic in here. Really enjoyed the chemistry between them two and the way they play off each other. Ellen Boscov plays the mom. Wow, she is definitely a character that is supposed to get on your nerves, and she will. She does it to perfection, and her performance in here, especially near the end as things escalate, really, I loved to not love this character, and that's all thanks to Ellen. We have Hazel in here, played by Melanie Rosedale, who was great in this role. John Reshtar as Paul, Daryl. Yes, I'm naming all of them, folks. Daryl Charles as Dale Tracker. Everybody doing well in here. The dad, played by Bob Quintana, who's also a psychologist in here, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with REM sleep and everything. I really liked him as well. He just kind of you could see him being Edgar's dad, and Raquel Watson as Sarah also puts in a solid performance. There's the legendary Wid playing Uncle Pat, who's this guy who just spouts off random things during the film. He's made to really be the comic relief in here, and he does have some quite funny moments, and some moments where you're just shaking your head going, wow, maybe you should just throw him out the door. There's some odes in here, especially when they get to the scene where they're all huddled up in the house, that has a familiarity to it to Night of the Living Dead. And yeah, the reason for why these weird things are happening, I thought, was solidly thought out. And for the budget that they shot this on, and the crew and the talent that they have in front and behind the camera, this is a fun indie horror film. It's got that indie aesthetic in some parts, but for the most part, audio is solid in here, which tends to be lacking in some indie films. And makeup effects, when they do use them, are done very effectively. I loved the makeup effects. There's one in here in particular involving a guy carrying a head, which was both humorous and disturbing and looked great. So they used their effects budget wisely, because where they do have it, it looked fantastic. And yeah, I enjoyed how it ended too. And so if you like your indie horror, looking for something a little different, don't mind a lot of dialogue in here. There are creepy moments, don't get me wrong, and some scary moments as well. There's plenty of blood in here, but you do get moments in here where there are chunks of dialogue. For a horror indie comedy, then you'll want to check out Sleep, Walk, a kill. It's a fun title with an interesting movie that, yeah, is going to be for those who love their indie cinema. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you out there. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our Patreon. So much more to come. So stay tuned, folks, and thank you. Until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.